Allo, allo, it's Nia. Welcome to AI Creator World Podcast, the place where creators learn how to grow faster, build smarter, and turn artificial intelligence into real opportunity. Here, we explore powerful AI tools, content strategies, personal branding systems, and new ways to create income in the digital era. If you are building something online, you are in the right place.
Imagine you're
Let's begin.
walking down a really busy city street on a Friday night, and you see this massive grand opening for a new restaurant. I mean, there is a line wrapping around the entire block.
Oh, yeah, like the red velvet ropes, the bouncers in suits, the whole thing.
Exactly, people taking flash photos outside. So from the sidewalk, it looks like the most successful, most sought-after business in the world.
Right.
But then you walk up, you peek through the front window, and you realize something incredibly strange. Nobody inside is actually eating.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the tables are completely empty. The people who walked in just, looked at the expensive decor, pulled out their phones, and stood there in complete silence.
Which is just, I mean, it is the ultimate illusion of success. You have all the foot traffic in the world, but zero actual consumption or interaction happening inside the building.
And for the longest time, that is entirely how we treated success on social media. We look at the massive line outside, the raw follower count, and we just assumed the restaurant was booming.
Well, it wasn't.
No. And if you are stepping into the digital landscape in 2026, whether you are, trying to grow a business, build a personal brand, or just trying to understand where human attention is actually going, you need to know that that metric is completely dead.
It really represents a profound shift in how platforms evaluate worth now. We have moved entirely away from rewarding the mere appearance of an audience to requiring the measurable reality of, well, an audience's participation.
And to figure out exactly how this landscape works today, we are pulling from a fascinating, incredibly detailed industry guide published by the AI Creator World team.
Right, the benchmark report.
Yeah, it's titled AI Influencer Engagement Rate Benchmarks 2026, What Good Growth Looks Like. Our mission for this deep dive is to decode the hidden metrics behind the booming AI influencer industry.
Because they are booming.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to uncover the exact mathematical strategies these digital avatars are using right now to capture human attention better than actual humans do. Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the complete death of the follower count.
That is the necessary place to start. Because before we can understand how artificial intelligence is winning the game, we have to understand the new rules of the game itself. In 2026, the currency of the internet is no longer followers. The currency is engagement rate.
Right, ER. And the source gives us a very specific mathematical formula for this, which I want to make sure we lay out clearly for you listening before we get into the wild tactics.
It's pretty straightforward, actually.
Yeah, so your engagement rate, or ER, is calculated by taking your total engagements. So that is every single comment, save, share, and watch through completion on a post, dividing that number by your total follower count, and then multiplying by 100 to get a percentage.
Exactly.
Now, I do want to clarify. We are specifically talking about follower-based ER here, not reach-based. Why is that distinction so important when we look at these benchmarks?
Because reach-based metrics fluctuate wildly based on, algorithmic luck.
Right, like going viral accidentally.
Yeah, if a completely random post goes viral and reaches 1 million non-followers, your reach-based engagement rate plummets artificially. It makes your data totally useless for long-term strategy.
That makes sense.
Follower-based ER stays consistent. It is a true barometer of loyalty. It reveals whether your content is actually resonating with the community you've built, or if it is just, taking up space on their screens. If we connect this to the bigger picture, knowledge or content is only valuable when it connects, when it is applied or felt by the user.
I like that.
In the modern social media ecosystem, reach is only valuable when it resonates.
And the source has this striking mathematical comparison that really drove this reality home for me. Let's say you have a creator with 50,000 followers, but they have a fairly low engagement rate of 0.8%.
Which is pretty common, honestly.
Yeah. That account generates the exact same absolute volume of engagement, like the same number of actual human interactions, as a tiny account with only 5,000 followers operating at an 8% engagement rate.
Right. The output is the exact same, but the quality of that audience is vastly different. The smaller account is demonstrating far stronger content resonance per individual follower.
It makes me think about it like this. Having a massive follower account with a terrible engagement rate is like renting out a giant stadium. but filling the seats entirely with cardboard cutouts.
That's a great way to picture it.
Right. Sure, it looks huge from a blimp flying overhead, but down on the field, there is no energy. A smaller account with high engagement is a packed, sweaty club where everyone is screaming the lyrics to the song. If you're putting content out there, you want the sweaty club.
And more importantly, the platforms want the club, and the brands paying for sponsorships want the club.
Yeah, they don't want the cutouts.
No, not at all. The later research cited in our source shows that high engagement smaller accounts consistently beat massive accounts in algorithmic discoverability. The platforms aggressively push content that proves it can hold attention.
So follower counts really don't matter to sponsors anymore.
Not in 2026. If you look at most brand partnership briefs today, they completely ignore minimum follower counts. They don't care. They demand minimum ER thresholds instead, which is usually around 2 to 3% for micro-tier influencers.
So if you're out there evaluating influencers to represent your company, or if you're a creator stressing over your own digital footprint, you have to stop obsessing over that big vanity number at the top of the profile. It is the sweaty club you are after.
Absolutely.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because the source reveals who is currently building the best, most packed, most highly engaged clubs on the internet. And it's not humans.
No, it is not.
It is AI avatars.
The benchmark data they've compiled here is honestly staggering. When we look at the nano tier on Instagram, so that's accounts with 1,000 to 10,000 followers, human creators average an engagement rate of 2.5 to 5.0%.
Okay, pretty standard.
But AI influencers in that exact same tier, their target benchmark is 3.5 to 8.0%.
Wow. That is a massive 35 to 75% advantage for AI over humans.
Right, and it's not just an Instagram phenomenon. When you look at TikTok, for that same nano tier, humans are hitting between 4.0 and 8.0%. Meanwhile, AI accounts are targeting 5.0 all the way up to 12.0%.
But I have to push back here because this feels completely counterintuitive to me. Right. Audiences know these are robots, right? They know they're watching generated avatars with synthetic voices.
Yeah, it's not a secret usually.
So how are they engaging with them more? Is it simply because an AI never has a bad hair day or, lazy filming conditions?
Well, what's fascinating here is that we often confuse what humans say they want with what the algorithm actually rewards.
Oh, that's a good point.
We talk endlessly about craving human authenticity, the raw, unfiltered, messy moments of real life. But the algorithm doesn't care about human authenticity. It is a machine. It cares about behavioral consistency. And the source outlines 2 deeply structural reasons why AI dominates this.
Okay, let's get into those.
The first is what they call the visual quality floor.
Meaning the absolute worst an AI post will ever look is still incredibly high quality.
Precisely. Think about human creators. Their output quality naturally fluctuates day by day. They get tired, the natural lighting in their room changes because it's cloudy, their camera equipment varies, their energy levels drop.
Sure, life happens.
But an AI influencer using a suite of tools like Midjourney for static imagery or HeyGen for avatar video generation, they maintain professional grade, perfectly lit, absolutely consistent output every single time they hit publish.
So they literally cannot have an off day.
Right. The floor for their quality never dips. The audience never receives a subpar visual experience.
Which builds an immense amount of subconscious trust. You always know exactly what you're going to get. And the second structural reason the guide points out is niche audience alignment.
Yeah, this is huge. Human creators often grow through broad, sometimes accidental discovery. Like, a fitness creator might post a funny, relatable video about their dog that happens to go viral.
Right, and suddenly they have 10,000 new followers.
Exactly, but those followers only care about the dog and have zero interest in their core fitness content. So when they go back to posting workouts, those new followers scroll past and it totally tanks their engagement rate.
Oh, wow.
AI character content, however, is highly intentional from day one. It is relentlessly programmed to focus on a specific niche, which attracts a deeply aligned audience.
Because the AI doesn't get distracted? It doesn't decide to suddenly vlog about its breakfast?
Right. It doesn't pivot.
And that niche consistency is like a superpower, especially on a platform like TikTok. The source points out that TikTok's algorithm is discovery first. That means it distributes content to non-followers immediately on the For You page.
Directly.
So if an AI account is perfectly categorized by the algorithm because it never strays from its highly specific topic, a nano account can easily reach 10 to 50 times its actual follower count.
It removes the friction of unpredictability. The machine algorithm perfectly understands the machine-generated content, and serves it efficiently to the humans who have shown a mathematical pattern of liking that exact topic.
Okay, so we've established that the AI's flawless consistency is what wins the overall game.
Yeah.
But how do they actually package that consistency on a day-to-day basis? Because surely it's not just about posting a pretty AI-generated face and hoping for the best.
Oh, definitely not. It requires exploiting very specific content formats to trigger the highest value algorithmic signals. This brings us to the currency of the modern algorithm: formats and saves.
Right, formats and saves.
If we look at Instagram's format performance data from the guide, static images are at the absolute bottom of the barrel, pulling an average ER of just 1.5 to 3.5%.
Which makes sense from a user behavior standpoint. You scroll past a photo, maybe double tap it if the aesthetic is nice, and you're gone in half a second.
Exactly. Reels, on the other hand, command a much higher 4.0 to 9.0% engagement rate. And carousels, those multi-slide posts you swipe through horizontally, they are hitting 3.5 to 7.5%.
So video and carousels are king.
Yes. But the real secret weapon for AI influencers isn't just accumulating views or likes, it is their mastery of the save rate. The source states that AI accounts have a staggering 50 to 100% advantage over humans when it comes to Instagram save rates.
It is insane.
They consistently hit 1.0 to 3.0% save rates compared to humans who are struggling at 0.5 to 1.5%.
Wait, why is that specific action like someone tapping that little bookmark icon
Mm-hmm.
so critical to the algorithm in 2026?
Because a save is the highest weight distribution signal a platform has. Think of it as a massive vote of confidence from the user.
Like saying, I need to keep this.
Exactly. When someone saves a post, they are essentially telling the algorithm, this content is so incredibly valuable, so dense with information that I need to keep it in my personal archive to reference later. Consistently high save rates build what the industry calls cumulative reach authority.
Cumulative reach authority. That sounds very technical. How does that actually function behind the scenes?
The best way to understand it is like algorithmic compound interest. Every time a post gets saved at a high rate, the platform assigned a slightly higher trust score to your entire account.
Oh, so it lifts everything up.
Right. It permanently raises the baseline for all your future posts. It tells the platform that your account is a high-value resource, so the next time you post, the algorithm naturally serves your content to a wider audience right out of the gate because you've proven your historical worth.
That is brilliant.
Yeah. Reels are used to drive the initial engagement velocity, so the fast watch-throughs, the quick shares to friends, but carousels are the engines that drive the saves.
So let me try an analogy here to map this out for you listening.
Yeah.
Think of your digital profile like a physical business. Your static images, the photos, those are just your storefront window.
Right. Nice to look at.
Yeah, they're good for aesthetics. They make the place look nice, but people walk right by. Your reels, that's the person standing out on the street with a megaphone, pulling the crowds in, getting eyes on the business quickly.
Perfect.
But your carousels, those are the highly valuable, detailed business cards that people actually take, put in their wallets, and keep.
That's exactly it. And from the platform's perspective, every time someone puts your digital business card in their wallet, a signal is fired directly to the algorithm's headquarters saying, this business is essential, send more foot traffic their way.
Wow.
And the reason AI carousels are saved so often is because they are designed purely as dense, scannable reference tools. They aren't a human telling a rambling, self-indulgent story. They are visually perfect, highly structured, data-rich slides.
All right, so we know that the metrics are shifting. We know AI has this inherent advantage, and we know we need the megaphone of Reels and the business cards of carousels. But how do we actually execute this?
Right, the practical application.
Yeah. If I'm sitting down to create content, what are the actionable strategies I can pull from these AI avatars? The source breaks down 4 tactical growth levers. Let's start with the balance of the formats. Should we just be deleting all our static photos?
Well, not necessarily deleting them, but definitely shifting the ratio. The data identifies an optimal content mix for 2026, which is 60 to 70% reels and carousels.
So very heavily weighted towards those two.
Yes, accounts that maintain this specific heavy mix of video and multi-slide content consistently outperform static heavy accounts by 2 to 4 full percentage points in engagement rate. You need the megaphone and the business cards working in constant tandem.
Okay, so we've got the mix right. We are posting a reel. But if people scroll past it in half a second, the algorithm punishes the account, right? How are these AI avatars physically forcing human thumbs to stop scrolling?
By mastering the psychology of the hook. If a reel doesn't hold a viewer in the first 3 seconds, it's completely dead in the water.
Just 3 seconds.
Yeah. The source outlines 3 proven hook patterns that exploit human psychology. The first is the pattern interrupt.
What exactly does that look like in practice?
So, the human brain, when scrolling social media, is in a passive state. It is rapidly scanning for the familiar so it can safely ignore it and keep scrolling. A pattern interrupt is something visually unexpected in the very first frame that shatters that expectation.
Like a weird camera angle or a sudden motion.
Exactly. It forces the brain's analytical side to wake up, pause, and process what it's seeing.
Got it. And the second hook they mentioned is the curiosity gap. This is basically a partial statement or a question posed right at the beginning that you literally cannot understand unless you've finished the video.
Right. You are opening a loop in the viewer's mind that demands closure.
And the third is an immediate value signal, where the viewer knows within 2 seconds exactly what tangible benefit they're going to get from watching the rest of the clip. Like 3 ways to fix your engagement rate.
Exactly. And once you have the hook keeping them there, you have to consider the environment you are releasing that content into. The third lever is all about timing and engagement velocity. Algorithms assess a new post in a highly critical testing phase, usually the first 30 to 60 minutes after publication.
I really want to dig into the mechanics of that. What is the platform actually doing during that first hour?
When you hit publish, the algorithm does not show your post to all your followers. It selects a small seed audience of your most active users. It serves them the content and watches their behavior like a hawk. If that seed audience scrolls past, maybe because they are commuting or sitting in a meeting or, asleep, the post fails the test. The algorithm assumes the content is bad and its reach is permanently throttled.
Which explains why the peak windows, the guide highlights, are so incredibly specific. AI influencer content is scheduled to hit perfectly between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. or 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on weekdays.
Right, catching people before work or on the couch after dinner.
But the absolute strongest slot across almost all niches, Tuesday through Thursday, exactly at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. That is the golden hour for passing that algorithmic seed test.
Yes. And finally, to pass that test with flying colors, you need comments. Comments are a massive engagement signal. But human creators often sabotage themselves here with their caption call to actions, or CTAs.
Oh, you mean the classic, let me know what you think in the comments down below.
Yeah, that phrase is a relic. It completely fails today because it introduces too much cognitive load. You are asking a passive viewer to stop, formulate an original opinion, type it out, and risk public judgment. It is just too much friction.
So what's the alternative? The source says you have to bypass the analytical brain entirely. You need highly specific, low-friction prompts.
Like direct questions.
Yeah, like which aesthetic would you choose, A or B? Or completion prompts like writing, I wish I'd known blank, and letting the audience fill in the blank with one word. Or the most effective one, the binary response. Drop a fire emoji if you agree, or a thought bubble if you're unsure.
Exactly. You are giving them the exact script to engage with, reducing the effort to a single tap. You remove the friction, you increase the volume of the engagement.
Makes total sense.
Now, the guide also provides a troubleshooting matrix for when you apply these tactics, and the numbers still fall flat. If your real watch-through rate is under 30%, your hooks are failing the psychological test.
Time to fix the pattern interrupt.
Right. If your carousel save rate is under 0.5%, it's likely because it reads like a narrative story instead of a scannable reference tool.
And what if your overall engagement rate is just generally terrible across the board?
Then you likely have audience misalignment. You may have gone viral for the wrong topic in the past, and now you have a stadium full of cardboard cutouts.
Ah, the cardboard cutouts return.
Yep. The only fix is to relentlessly post niche, consistent content. It will temporarily hurt, but it flushes out the misaligned followers and rebuilds a core responsive audience. And you track this with tools like Metricool, IG Insights, or TikTok Analytics.
So what does this all mean? Looking at all this data, the 30-minute seed audience tests, the strict 0.5% save rate thresholds, the psychological hooks, isn't there a massive risk of data overload here?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the source tells us to track ER religiously, and we all have these native analytics right in our pockets on our phones. Isn't it incredibly tempting for someone to just sit there, refresh their screen every 10 minutes, and drive themselves completely insane?
This raises an important question about the psychological cost of this kind of optimization. The source addresses this directly by pointing to parallel guidance from Hootsuite and the Influencer Marketing Hub. Tracking your metrics on a daily or hourly basis does not give you better insights. It just creates profound performance anxiety.
Because daily fluctuations are just, algorithmic noise.
Exactly. True optimization requires a wider lens. You need to look at average weekly performance and compare monthly trends. Did April's specific format mix perform better than March's? Pattern-level data is what actually informs real strategic decisions.
Right.
Checking your phone at the 1 hour mark is only useful for diagnosing an immediate timing issue with your seed audience, not for evaluating your overall strategy or your worth as a creator.
Zoom out. I love that. So let's zoom out on this entire deep dive. We started by redefining what success actually looks like today, moving away from the empty vanity of a massive follower count to the undeniable mathematical proof of engagement rate.
The Sweaty Club.
Yes, the sweaty club. We uncovered the somewhat unsettling reality that AI influencers have an unfair advantage because they can maintain a flawless visual quality floor and perfect unwavering niche consistency. We learned that the algorithm's absolute favorite currency is the save, driven by carousels acting as dense reference tools. And we explored the underlying mechanisms of the four levers: balancing your format mix, interrupting patterns with your hooks, passing the seed audience test with perfect timing, and removing cognitive friction from your CTAs. If there's one thing you take away from this, it's that in 2026, social media doesn't care how wide your reach is. It only cares how deeply you resonate.
And all of this leads to a rather profound and perhaps uncomfortable implication. If AI influencers are currently setting the absolute gold standard for perfect algorithmic consistency, flawless psychological hooks, and mathematically optimized engagement, how long until human creators have to start acting more like programmed algorithms themselves just to keep their jobs?
Wow, that is a genuinely terrifying thought to leave us with, something for all of us to seriously think about the next time we open our feeds. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you for listening to AI Creator World Podcast. If you found this episode valuable, make sure to follow the podcast, subscribe on YouTube, and share this episode with another creator who is building their future online. For deeper guides, AI tools, and step-by-step growth strategies, visit our website at aicreatorworld.net. And remember, in the age of artificial intelligence, creators who learn faster will lead the future. See you in the next episode. Bye!